Greetings everyone. Today we're going to work on Google Sheets and we're going to create an epic rubric. To do that, we're going to have two options for you. The first option is to come over here on the side and go to your Add-ons and Sheets side tab. I'm already there, so it's not looking like it's doing much, but it is. So we're here, and you can look at the written instructions over here. I've prepared a set of slides for you to follow if you'd like to do that. Or you're watching this video and you can follow along as I do it. And you can follow along with me. So that's what we're going to do today. To get started, I've posted a link out here, the Epic Rubric link. So if you'll click on that, it'll take you to this page. And this particular application was created by Alice Keeler. And I picked this up from a friend of mine a few weeks ago, and I really liked it. It's better, 10 times better than the one I'd planned to use. So I'm using this one. So thank you, Ashley, for sharing your information. I've made a change already. So here we go. The first thing you're going to do is make a copy of this. And it'll take a minute. There we go. All right. And after you've made a copy and it loads, the first thing I need you to do is put rosters, meaning putting first and last name of your student in this column. And I need you to put their email addresses in here if they have them. Now, if you're not comfortable doing that, or you don't know them, which I didn't, you can put your own email address here to start, just so this will work today. And then if you want to have them uploaded in later, if you're really going to use this, I would have them do it. Just have them type it in. So I'm going to pause for a second, let you get your roster put in. I'll put my roster in, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we're going to move on to the next step. You should have something that looks like this. Notice I have a very star-studded class here with a couple made-up funny names. And then I also have my email address over here because I'm going to use that to have this send to me. Again, you can have it sent to your students if you want to put their emails in. So the next step after we've finished putting our roster here is edit this rubric. So let's click on that tab. And you're going to see this item pop up. And there's a few things that you don't need to do, and there's a few things that you need to do. So the first thing we need to explore is student name. You don't have to do anything there. Don't put anything in it yet. We're going to have that populate itself later through the scripts that have been written for this spreadsheet. In addition to that, you don't want to put any comments in either. We're going to save that for when we grade. So you can leave that blank as well. The things I do need you to fill in are enter assignment name here and how many points possible would you like this particular rubric to be worth. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to make this 100, and assignment name, I'm going to make it business plan project. Okay? And I'm just going to make that real simple, real easy. Now the cool thing about this is you can adjust and manipulate a lot of the numbers here. So notice over on the side here you have a student score of 4s across the board, each category or each criteria being worth 25%, giving you a total value of 100%. You can change these, and I would encourage you to explore changing these. And for instance, if you want to see what happens when I change that to a 3, well, it automatically grades up here how that affects what his grade should be. So 96.25, and it also tells him he got 96 out of 100 points. Okay. The other piece of information I want you to know, let's say you only want this to be worth 20%. Whoops. 20%. Well, if that's the case, this is going to turn red because you don't have 100% worth of value, so you're going to have to adjust another one of these categories. So let's change the one right below it to 30, and you're back to 100%, and it regrades it, and there you go. There you have it. So it's that simple, changing those pieces of information. You can also adjust these as well. You can also adjust these point values up here as well. All right, so feel free to play with that if you like. Or if you just want to keep it simple, that's fine. You can leave it like it is, and you can play with it later. There is one thing I want you to do so I can show you how to do this, and I want you to add a criteria to your worksheet, and we're going to go through how to do that. So over here on the left-hand side, you're going to either right-click, or I have a Mac, so I'm going to Control and click, and it's going to bring up this menu, and I want to insert one above. Okay, so I've inserted one above because I want more criteria. All right, so to do that, number one, I'm going to decide what I don't need to know what a student's score is going to be yet. I'm going to come over here to my percentage, and well, we already have 100%, so we're going to have to adjust these a little bit. So I'm going to change everything to 20. All right, and see how it changed and it made it more than 100%. So now that's another thing it's going to tell you. And so I'm going to go through and show you that I'm changing these. Normally I'd pause it, but I wanted you to see that change. Now, the one thing that you're going to also have to adjust is these items here that are coming in this row. All right, and this is a very simple task to do. So if you select, click and drag through this top set of information, and then grab this fill handle right here, you can bring it down because it's formula related, and it'll automatically update that information for this column. All right, now you can also type in your information too. I just wanted you to be aware of what we were doing there. Okay, so I would highly encourage you to do that. So keep that in mind as you fill out your additional column or row as you add it. Okay, there's one other piece to this that can give you a hiccup if you don't fix it. Up here in the top right, there are two arrows and they're hiding a column. We're going to click on that. We're going to click on that to extend it. Click on the arrow to extend it out, and you'll notice there's no percentage over here. And actually, if you try to score it, it won't add that into the score. So like if we have a full 100% on the other fours, you'll notice it doesn't have anything there. You'll also notice that we don't have criteria 2. We need to name that criteria 2. So you may want to go in here and type criteria 2, and you can adjust the others accordingly. You can label this 3, and I'm going to pause and adjust those real quick, and then we'll talk about this number that's missing over here. Okay, I made those adjustments, and you'll notice when you make the adjustments, it'll automatically adjust what it says down here because that formula is automatically reading what you're writing over here. Okay, and that's a really nice feature. Okay, so back to this. We're at 80%, but we've scored it at 100%. Why is that? Well, there's no formula that's carried down over here. So we need to take this spreadsheet, and we're going to click on this cell above, and we're going to use that fill handle again. You don't want to write this formula. Look at this formula up here. There's no reason to even look at this or do it other than to just know that you can grab this fill handle right here and drag it down, and voila, it fixes your entire spreadsheet rubric. And it's as simple as that. And you can add as many as you would like going down. You just have to remember to drag that percentage formula down so it'll calculate all the way through the entire rubric. Okay, so that's really key there to make sure that you bring that percentage down so it grades it correctly. If you're having an issue with this not equaling 100%, it's 9 times out of 10 going to be that issue. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're filling this information out. We'll go to the next step here in a second. Okay, we're ready for the next step. It has to do with the add-ons portion of this sheet, and we're going to go up here to the top and we're going to click on add-ons, and you're looking for the after you click start, it's going to say authorization required, a script attached to this document needs your permission to run. You're going to hit continue, and this may pop up, okay, and it's going to ask you which account would you like to use. I'm going to use my Gmail account that I'm using, and then it's going to say this app isn't verified, proceed only if you think it's trustworthy. Well, I was given this by a friend I trust genuinely, so I'm using it as well, and I've had no issues with it. So the next step we have to go to, it looks like you're just kind of stuck and you have to go back to safety. Actually, you go to advanced. And underneath here, it's going to give you, Google hasn't reviewed this. Alice Keeler is someone that I've seen in a workshop before, so I'm trusting it as well based on that. So I'm going to go to the rubrics. There we go. I misclicked it. And it's going to bring this up just like every app you've ever used in Google. And it's going to ask you to allow it. Okay? Or every add-on that you've ever used. Alright, it's going to finish writing the script. And now you should have a tab that shows up on the right-hand side. And this is where we're going to make our money. This is where this thing's going to really come to life. So the first thing we're going to do once this rubric tab comes up is we're going to click on Create Rubrics. And as you see it right before your eyes, at the bottom, it is populating all the rubrics for each student that you have. Now, it may send you back to your original first your first tab over here, which is fine. So you have all your people listed. You still have your rubric template that you made, and then you have all of your students listed. And so it'll automatically fill the names of the student, and it'll leave a comment box for you, and now you can go in and score each individual student. So I'm going to click on each one of these, and there's more down the line here. And so you can go through and score each one of them. Now, I don't expect you to score it here in this class particularly, because I'm just teaching you the technique on how to make this. Okay, so if you got this far, you're doing well. So the next step we're going to have, we're going to actually send back feedback to our students. So in order to see that, we have to do a couple things. The first thing I want you to do is pick any student, okay? And we're just going to practice this. So let's go, I'm going to go with Mark Hamill. Okay, and I'd like you to just type some generic comment in your box, like, nice movie, looking forward to number 9. Alright, something, whatever, totally generic, doesn't really matter. Okay? So the next step after this is sending the rubrics back to your students. Okay, you should be ready to send it back to your students now. If you wanted to manipulate some scores here too, you could, just throwing that out there. But now we're going to send it back. So we're going to look at, over here in your rubrics tab, the email rubrics option. So I want you to click on that, and it's going to populate a certain list, and it's going to take you back to your roster. So go ahead and click on that link, and let's see what happens for you. What I'm hoping happened for you after you click the email button is that it took you to the roster page, and it started populating little links up here on the screen, giving you individual sheets for each person that was scored. And it probably got sent to your email. Sorry about the flooded inbox. You can delete them. But I wanted you to see how it will send a different score report for each person. So if you want to click on these links, it'll take you right to the scoring rubric that you have, and that'll actually show you what your student's going to see. Okay? If you use Google Classroom and those are the emails that you're using in conjunction with this, that actually works really well because it actually loads in their own classroom account. So it's really nice to see that when that happens. In this case, it's going to show up in not a classroom, it's going to show up in just my regular email, and that's where I would see it. Okay? I do want to go back to your template real quick and talk about a couple of these other things, and then we'll be done for this assignment. But you don't have to do either of these things, but I did want to mention that you do have the ability to edit your rubric through this link. And as you look at the other ones, you can create more rubrics. You can compile them and make a list of all student scores and comments onto a roster. There's another piece of information. You can reuse the rubric here, and you can duplicate the spreadsheet here. So you can explore those on your own. The main thing that I wanted to teach you in this lesson in particularly was how to set this up and how to score it, and then how to send it back to your kids, because I think that's a pretty convenient and easy way, especially if you're doing some project-based learning with rubric grading. This is a nice way to do it. And also, I'll throw this little tidbit in. If you're using your an iPad or a tablet of some kind, or even your phone, for instance on my Google phone, you can score these rubrics by circling them with the pin that comes along with your classroom. So that's pretty handy as well. So I would highly recommend, if you have that capability, use that to score it, because it's nice for them to be able to see the visual circle, or maybe you have some notes you want to write on there that are handwritten. Totally your choice. Okay, you always got the comment box too, but sometimes it's nicer to write next to the area where you're scoring. So I would encourage you to check that feature out if you do have that ability within the classroom. It only works on tablets and iPads and things of that nature. It does not work on your computer to write on the sheet or write on a document. Okay, so just food for thought, some things to think about. Thank you for checking out this epic rubric lesson. I look forward to talking to you guys about slides next. All right, have a good day.